we have the Dead Sea here, and it's called Dead Sea because there is no life, right? However, Yoram, it's a great real estate opportunity for you. I got it.
Just talk loud.
Just talk loud. I can't
Thank
feel like that. So here's the real estate deal. In Ezekiel 47, and we'll talk about this when we get up there, but in Ezekiel 47, it talks about how under the temple there's going to come forth a spring. Anybody remember? And Ezekiel walks out, and it's at his ankles, and it's his knees, it's up to his waist, and then he's swimming in it. What happens to that water that comes from the Temple Mount? I don't know which way. Actually, the Bible tells us which way it comes down. But we know that the waters end up flowing in here. And so don't miss this real estate opportunity, because it's going to be a hot spot in the millennium. It says, it shall be, the fishermen will stand, it's Ezekiel 47:10, the fishermen will stand by it from Gedi to En Eglaim, and there will be places for spreading their nets. There will be fish of the same kinds as the fish of the great sea. So maybe the Lord's going to do it himself. So if you set up a little tackle shop here, I'm just thinking, you find a spot, set up a tackle shop, some boats, you're going to be a place where fishing can happen.
Put up our coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon, that's right. So, is this still not working? I don't want to yell if I don't have to. Okay, so that's something we'll talk about a little bit more, but just know that it's from here to, where's En Eglaim? E-G-L-A-I-M? E-G-L-A-I-M? Yeah, Eglaim. You know where En Gedi is. So I'll try and figure that out myself. But let's go to 1 Samuel 24 and go back in history. We're looking at in future there in Ezekiel 47. But let's plan on reading the text and just take in the scene here. 1 Samuel 24:1. Now it happened when Saul had returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, take note, David is in the wilderness of En Gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men from all Israel and went to seek David and his men on the rocks of the what?
Wild goats.
So hopefully we get to see some. So he came to the sheepfolds by the road where the cave was, and Saul went in to attend to his needs. This is another way of saying what?
Had to go potty.
Go in the bathroom. He chose the wrong cave, or maybe you could say he chose the right cave. David and his men were staying in the recesses of the cave. You got the scene? Saul is chasing David. David hides in En Gedi. He's hiding in a cave, and Saul's got to go relieve himself, and he just so happens to choose the cave where David and his men are. Then the men of David said to him, this is the day of which the Lord said to you, behold, I will deliver your enemy into your hand, that you may do to him as it seems good to you. And David arose and secretly cut off the corner of Saul's robe. Now it happened afterward that David's heart troubled him, because he cut Saul's robe. And he said to his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing to my master, the Lord's anointed, and stretch out my hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord. So David restrained his servants with these words, and did not allow them to rise against Saul. And Saul got up from the cave and went on his own way. David also rose afterward and went out to the cave and called out to Saul, saying, my Lord, the king. And when Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the earth and bowed down. And David said to Saul, why do you listen to the words of men who say, indeed, David seeks your harm? Look, this day your eyes have seen that the Lord delivered today into my hand in the cave, and someone urged me to kill you, but my eye spared you. And I said, I will not stretch out my hand against the Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. Moreover, my father, see, and he was his father-in-law, yes, see the corner of your robe. Can you just see him kind of looking down now? You got this, he's yelling from the top of one of these caves. He's looking down. He says, look, I did not kill you. Know and see that there is neither evil nor rebellion in my hand, and I have not sinned against you. Yet you hunt my life to take it. Let the Lord judge between me, and let the Lord avenge me on you. For my hand shall not be against you, as a proverb of the ancients says, wickedness proceeds from the wicked, but my hand shall not be against you. After whom has the king of Israel come out? And whom do you pursue? A dead dog, a flea? Therefore, let the Lord be judge and judge between you and me, and see and plead my case, and deliver me out of your hand. So it was, when David had finished speaking these words to Saul, that Saul said, Is this your voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. Then he said to David, You are more righteous than I, for you have rewarded me with good, whereas I have rewarded you with evil. And you have shown this day how you have dealt well with me. For when the Lord delivered me into your hands, you did not kill me. For if a man finds his enemy, will he let him get away safely? Therefore, may the Lord reward you with good for what you have done to me this day. And now I know indeed that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hand. Therefore, swear now to me by the Lord that you will not cut off my descendants after me, and that you will not destroy my name from my father's house. So David swore to Saul, and Saul went home, but David and his men went up to the stronghold. That does not end Saul's pursuit of David. It does not, everything that he says here indicates, all right, you're good to go. But we know that that does not end there. But David made a promise that he would not cut off the house of Saul, which was very common when a new king came in. All the descendants, anybody that could possibly claim right to the throne, would not live. And when David finally took the throne, he did find a descendant. What was the name of the descendant of Saul? Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth was what? He was lame in his feet. Another thing that history tells us is that they often would not bring in those that were infirmed in some way around the king. But David brought in Mephibosheth, and Mephibosheth sat at the table and ate with him, which is a beautiful picture of how the Lord is with us. We are his enemy. Our sins have separated us from God, right? There was an enmity that separated us, but the Lord has shown favor to us, and we come in lame, but he shows us that grace, and he welcomes us in. We really see a contrast of two men here. You have David, who's following the Lord, and even cutting off the robe, the corner of the robe, and pricked his heart, and his conscience was cut. Whereas you have Saul making all of these promises and even making requests of David, his son-in-law, but he has no intention of fulfilling those things. So we'll take a walk up to the lower, right? Are all these kids going up high? Yeah.
It's too easy just to go to the first one.
Right. So they probably went up. So we'll walk up there. And how much time do we have?
We have around 15 minutes or